What's up, space friends? I'm a little late with this one, but we've got another Inside Star Citizen here for Alien Week, and I think we're going to get some news on the Hull C. I am here to tell you a little bit more about the Santok Yai, where it might fit in, and how the Hull C could change the game completely this year, or how it might disappoint. I've heard some things, but we'll see. Thanks for joining me. If you like this, subscribe. I'll be doing a lot more of these soon, as I'm getting more into casual content again.
Hey everyone, it's Alien Week, that yearly celebration of all things Vanduul, Tavaran, Xi'an, and Banu.
Don't forget.
I wish they were there.
Don't forget to Sacred Thack. Don't forget to Sacred Thack.
And to celebrate here on ISC, we thought we'd check in with members of the ship team currently working on the latest Xi'an fighter, the Santok Yai. Santok Yai. It's pronounced just like it's spelled. But because we just got off 2 weeks of ship segments with Invictus just a few weeks ago, I figured we'd do things a little different this week and call Vehicle Art Director Elwyn Batchelor Jr. and Lead Designer Elwyn Hosmer directly in a special Calling All Devs edition of Inside Star Citizen.
Cool.
Because that's just how I roll sometimes.
I like that.
Now, I understand we already have them on the line? Yes? Great. So, Elwyn Hosmer, why don't you give us an update on where we're currently at with the Santok Yai?
All right, first, I would like to give a little context. Elwyn is the person who was on ISC a couple years ago who told us the idea that ships wouldn't be released without their primary functionality. And they've done okay at that so far. I think they've released basically every ship with its main purpose. The Raft doesn't have its crane, but it was a cargo hauler. The 400i was an explorer, so that's a little weird. But this is a show we used to do, Calling All Devs, where we'd get just straight answers from them, which I really like. So I hope they have some good things to say about the ship, because like it's a big deal. It's a very pretty ship. It's been around for a while. We're waiting for it to get off the backlog. Hopefully good news.
Real talk, we just failed our gray box review.
Oh, that's good news.
That's real talk for you.
All right.
So where we're at with the Santok Yai right now is we just went through our review gate for gray box, which we failed. And it's not catastrophic. The main reason for that is because we haven't quite figured out how we're going to be doing and designing the cockpit dashboard yet. All of the exterior has been basically gray box modeled out. We have the majority of the animations finished. I'm actually currently repolishing the landing animation and in-flight animation.
I hope this one animates slower. I do. Obviously, the fast animation helps in combat, but like, I feel like the ship's animations go very quickly, and you don't get that like feeling of weight behind them.
And a couple of other really cool things that we haven't shown before. But yeah, the bulk of the geometry's been modeled out, and we're about to get ready to start doing material work and.
Oh, it looks really cool landed.
Make it look beautiful, but unfortunately, we can't quite move on to that stage yet until we really nail down what it is that we're going to be doing with the dashboard.
I mean, that's part of the process. We want to make sure that everything is dotted and crossed. What's the expression?
Dot your I's.
You mean cross your eyes and dot your T's.
Cross your T's or dot your I's. There you go. We want to cross our T's and dot our I's.
I need to run this back a bit.
Personally, don't cross my T's. I think it's for lamos.
Tell us that failing gray box is a semi-normal thing.
It isn't the most common thing that happens. I would say it happens less than 50% of the time. I don't have exact metrics for that, but in this case, it's just there's a lot going on right now that we're working on in the background, and we weren't able to get the level of support that we were hoping to get in order to really iron out the plans for this specific asset. But
I think an interesting question that could be posed for a ship like this is it worth it? Is it worth having, because Star Citizen ships aren't just a ship. It's not just like making a Millennium Falcon or an X-Wing. They have to go in and do what they're talking about, make all these ridiculous details on the controls and the visuals and all that. Is it worth it to go so far out of our way to create alien-styled ships with such different forms and factors of and ways of working just so we have it in the game? We still don't really know how much the aliens are going to be an impact in the game. Are they going to actually be a focus, or are they just going to be out there somewhere in their own space and we run into them every once in a while? I don't think they're going to be a big deal for at least the next like 10 years, maybe 5 years. I don't know. So as cool as it is, and as much as I love these ships, there's obviously another conversation to be had about these kinds of alien ships?
It happens from time to time. We know exactly why it failed. Everything else on the ship works. This is just one very specific issue that we have to deal with.
Oh, we fail them all the time. Basically, there's something that's always just, needs to get fixed or pointed out. And what we do usually is we'll, afterwards, we'll post videos, post screenshots, and be like, hey, here's this thing that was wrong. We fixed it. Can we pass now? Do we have to have another meeting? We might have to have it run through it again. But usually it's just minor things.
100%. Yeah. I mean, and we almost got the pass, but it's just there's too many unknowns from a visual standpoint to really move forward in a comfortable way. So it worked. The review gate worked. It blocked us from putting in something that's unfinished, basically. But we tried. We should have probably rescheduled it because we knew that was going to be missing and there was no way we would have the time to get it in on time. But hey, man, sometimes you got to see what you can get away with and realize you can't, and then go back to the drawing board.
Don't say drawing board.
Well, it's not the drawing board. That's true. We're not going back to the drawing board, but we do have quite a bit of design work that we have to establish. What will be cool, though, is we do have a few ideas already for what we want to do. Hopefully it doesn't take us more than a week and a half to establish the direction, and then another week and a half after that to actually actualize the asset. But it'll be nice because this will then establish the look and feel for Alboa specifically.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of continuity between the two. I think they did a great job with the designs of making them look similar but different. I wonder, though, why the weapons look like that. Is that how the Xi'an designed it? It feels rather inelegant for something that they would make. Maybe it's just to attach human weapons onto the ship.
Right, because we do have different manufacturers, even within the alien lines. And so we want to make sure that we differentiate Alpoa. So that would be the Scout, now the Santokyai, and any future Alpoa ships from any other Xi'an manufacturers that we might be working on. So this will help us establish that look and feel for the dashboard specifically, and we will want to retroactively
Cartual just has no thrusters on.
then add that to the Scout as well.
Name another company that casually discusses failing internal reviews. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Coffee Stain is my
this
that's
episode
my
even
favorite.
airs.
If you didn't see it already, I released a video recently actually featuring Coffee Stain talking about these kinds of things. Check it out on the main channel.
At least it's honest.
It's always awkward. Every single time.
So, besides having to figure out a new dashboard, I assume everything else is going well? What do you like so far about the Santokyai?
I like the aesthetics and the way that we've kind of made the wings and the thrusters work, because the thrusters with the Fury, we actually got working thrusters where they actually spin forward and they retro with the actual main thrusters. So I was getting to mess around with the thrusters and how they worked and tuning them and trying to figure out how far can I take this? Can I make them go every single angle under the sun, or should I be restricting it? Should I change it so when it's in landed mode and it's in the more compact mode, should they still be able to go in every sort of direction, or should I restrict that more? So I was just getting to mess around with that was pretty fun for me.
I think the thing that I'm having the most fun with at the moment is how far we're really pushing the anti-grav tech that Xi'an have. So that's a common thing. That's going to be a common feature across all Xi'an ships, regardless of manufacturer. We sort of identified that as a core pillar of Xi'an technology. And
Super about that gravity.
so regardless of manufacturer, they will all have that. And then there's a couple of other things that we need some engineering support to do, but will really sort of bring the asset to life in an interesting way. We're hoping to get a lot more movement on the wings as the ship kind of moves around. So just the basic idea of making the vehicle feel like a living, breathing creature as a whole. That's the thing that's super fun. But it's hard, man. We need a lot of support to get that working. And if we can get it done, though, I think Alpoa is going to be a very unique manufacturer, because I think it's going to feel very different than everything else we have. Also, there's a lot of times there are things that I think are very easy to do, and then I'll speak to an engineer and they're like, actually, that's fundamentally different than the way ships work. And I'm like, oh crap, okay, well, I guess I
This thing looks really freaking good.
gotta figure out another way to do it. The most fun part, honestly, about the Santok AI just in general is we are trying a lot of new things. So we're stepping into areas that we haven't done before. And so there's a lot of risk involved with failing, essentially, where it's like, okay, we might try something and either it doesn't turn out well, or internally people don't like the way it looks, or we can't actually do it. Like, there's so many of those questions at every turn with the Santok AI, but we've been creeping forward, and overall the asset is looking awesome. I'm just hoping we can cross that finish line to like the full vision that I have.
I believe in you, Elwyn. Thanks for your time.
I wish we could have learned more about what the ship is here for. I think anybody who doesn't know this ship already is probably sitting here thinking, what? It's another fighter. It's got 4 guns on it, but like, what is the cause of it? What is it going up against? Why does it exist? It'd be nice to hear a little bit more about that.
So yeah, that's a look at the current progress of the Santok AI working its way through the ship pipeline for an intended release.
They'll probably do that when it comes out.
And while we've working its way through the ship pipeline for an intended release later this year.
Later, yeah.
And while we've got the ship team on the phone, let's see if we can get an update on a ship that's finally making its long-awaited debut in the upcoming Alpha 320, the Hull C from Musashi Industrial.
Okay, so this ship has, I'm going to put footage on the screen here. This ship has been in teasing, in modeling, in work since probably 2018, I think, 2019. And we've had the guy who has been working on this put 3 years of time just into figuring out all the weird, crazy details to try and get this thing working. Even the guy from Digital Foundry went and commented on how ridiculous the animations and movements of this ship works. That's all putting aside that this ship is going to be the catalyst for the economy. Maybe not with this first update. It really should be, but I don't know what they're saying. But this is a huge deal of a ship. This changes everything when it comes to how we think about cargo, because the capacities we've been shipping at right now are so limited. We don't think about the idea of station to station or station to planet or system to system kind of cargo hauling. And this is going to change that conversation. So again, another major change to another major profession in the industrial area. But let's see what they're actually talking about having for the first reveal, because you know how it is.
Hey, John Crew, are you there?
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. The Hull C.
Yeah.
This thing's been in development for a while. What's been going on, man?
Well, how long have you got?
Try to keep it under 2 minutes.
Honestly, this is going to be, I can't wait to put a video together about the Hull C. It'll probably be an exclusive because it's going to be a long video, but there's a lot of history and information in this ship's development process.
Okay. Hull C, for those that don't know, is like the big 18-wheeler of the Star Citizen universe, designed for transporting bulk cargo around the stations and between solar systems. We started it...
Tractor beam.
I want to say systems.
Wait, hold on. This is the first time we're seeing ship tractor beams. Besides the SRV, they're actually showing them to us. Cool. That actually looks very easily detachable.
We started it.
Can you tractor beam the tractor beam? Can you tractor beam a tractor beam that's tractor beaming another tractor beam? How many layers deep can we go?
I want to say 5+ years ago. We got so far on the art and design side, probably early grey box. And then the sheer amount of technical challenges with this ship became apparent. We put a pause to it. We thought, we'll come back. The teams that need to help us have more important things to do at that point in time. There was object container streaming going on. So we're like, that's more important. We'll sort that out. We'll come back to it. And the last year or so, we've come back to it and had to deal with all those big technical challenges for the ship.
Thank you.
And how's it doing today? What can folks expect?
You can expect the ship working as we intended it to be when it was concepted. So it's quite a unique ship in the game. There's a lot of moving parts literally on it and some tech in there that you've never seen before in any ships. So primarily the hurdles revolved around that central spindle section that you can walk through whilst it's doing those animated states.
Look at that. Oh my gosh. This game, like, they're building the places, that's for sure. The ships and locations are building the sci-fi dream. We just need that gameplay.
We've essentially got 2 parts of the ship that move independent, or they're animated together, but they're independent parts of the ship, and a new way of loading cargo into
Wow.
the ship.
I want to talk to you about that. So one of the big questions since this thing was first introduced is how the cargo loading and unloading is going to work in Alpha 320. Who can tell us about that?
I think we can probably get Chris Tanks on the line. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, Jared. Excuse me. Hi.
Hi, Chris Danks.
Hi, Jared.
So how does cargo work for the Hull
Thanks.
C in Alpha 320?
So in Alpha 320, the Hull C behaves as we expect it to.
Okay.
When it's extended, when its cargo arms are out, it can't land. So it can't take cargo in the normal sense that any other ship that takes cargo does while it's landed. So you go to your cargo terminal, you buy as much cargo as you want, you set it to the Hull C, but the system recognizes that it can't spawn the cargo while the ship is landed. So you get in your ship, you fly it out of the hangar, and then contact ACC again. That is when the ship realizes, oh, I'm out of the landing zone now, I'm ready to take some cargo. So you extend it, contact,
Oh, shoot. So there's a cargo deck area.
realizes, oh, I'm out
That's huge.
of the landing zone now, I'm
So they're gonna use the cargo decks. See, I've been always wondering if they were going to have, because like if you're transporting 1,000 boxes of like Stouffer's quick cooked dinners, you're not parking in the same place as like grandma grabbing the sticky toffee pudding, right? Sticky toffee pudding. You're going to the back area. You're like getting locked into their cargo department. So I've always wondered, like, are they actually going to use the cargo deck hangars and like facilities to make this, to separate the people who are doing this as an industrial career from the people who are just like grabbing stuff? And finally, we get the first sign of that, which is just fantastic. Obviously, it's not docking to the actual cargo station. It looks like it's not a full, a full experience, but it's a start.
ready to take some cargo. So you extend it, contact the ATC, and the cargo will spawn on your ship then.
Does this thing fit in any hangars?
While it's collapsed, it'll fit in the large spec hangars. When it's extended, it doesn't fit in any hangar we have at the moment.
You can dock it though.
It can be docked at any station.
Has anybody tried to dock it when it's fully extended?
Oh, I mean, you would hit the extent of the cargo long before your landing gear touched the ground. It would not be pretty. Well, I mean, somebody will have done it, and it will have been a magnificent explosion, but I wouldn't recommend it.
All right, so we've been looking at images of the new Hull C. It looks fantastic.
Oh, God.
Which one of you is going to talk about how it looks?
How about physical loading?
Probably Ben.
You don't have Ben back here, do you?
Hello.
Take a seat, Ben.
Hello, Jared. How are you?
Too much fun with
There's
this.
no way they're letting me do this with an episode ever again. Ben, talk us through it. The Hull C looks great. It's been a while getting there.
Yep.
Tell us about it.
So as John mentioned, it's been in development for a while. We kind of stepped on it and stepped off it, depending on what tech we needed. I think, in our game we talk a lot about kind of gold standard, but really with the Hull C, it's kind of like current standard. So what we want to do is make sure that when we release the ship visually, it ticked all of our kind of current processes, and it kind of really was on par with everything else that we put out now compared to where it was kind of back in the day. I think some of the other kind of updates we've had to do to kind of maintain it over the years is just the kind of like the simple things like
This looks good. I really get the Starfarer feels from this, but it does definitely look more polished and up to date. Like the Starfarer could see a new coat of paint to look more like this, but MISC style, I want to say it's a little bit conservative. It's clean. It's not frilly. It seems like it gets the job done. It's a little bit less utilitarian than something like Drake or RSI. Has that industrial flair of Argo though.
we now have a lot more interaction in the ships, which we never had back when it was first started. So making
And of
sure
course the chrome.
panels are accessible and open and close and animate, making sure the dashboard's all interactive and all those fun things that everyone's used to now.
Oh,
What are some of your
is that a tractor beam?
favorite parts? What are
How are they
Make
going
sure
to
the
just throw that
dashboard's all
on there?
interactive.
Is this a tractor beam turret? We get to get an idea of where the view is. Please use it. Just show us.
And all those fun things that everyone's used to now.
What are some of your favorite parts? What are things that people should look out for visually?
I think, to be honest, the ship is a very industrial ship, and it really kind of feels that way. There's some like little things that I just love, like the main kind of airlock entrance into the ship feels really big and chunky and strong, which I think is needed on something so industrial. And that kind of industrial language kind of flows throughout the ship. I think my kind of main favourite place is engineering in the rear. The whole rear of the ship is kind of dedicated to
Oh my gosh.
really
I didn't know this was 3 decks.
encompassing that idea that you are on a big workhorse. You know, there's big engines, there's massive pipes. It feels really kind of like nice and moody and a little bit dangerous. And I think that's kind of really helps sell what's going on the outside of the ship, but inside.
Well, that all sounds great. So, what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the Santok Yai is still making its way through the ship pipeline for an intended release later this year. What did he do? That the Hull C looks great, and it's intended to arrive in the upcoming Alpha 320 with modified cargo loading and unloading. That inviting people into your ship and calling people for an interview less than an hour after they failed their go-no-go is either the best thing or the worst thing that you can do, depending on your point of view. And that it's Alien Week, and you should check out the RobertSpaceIndustries.com website and socials for all the various promotions, activities, and contests that usually go along with it. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee with Chris, John, and Ben. Thanks for exploring the process of game development with us, and we'll see you all here next week. Almost certainly back to the regular format. So, I'm just gonna get going.
Cheers, Sarah.
Aye.
Bye.
You guys can tell us more. He's gone. Give us secrets. Somebody, please.
That's it? Damn.
I'm uncomfortable. I enjoyed hearing about that ship. I enjoyed hearing about both those ships, but we got some development details, but again, I don't feel like we got the insight we need with ISC. We didn't get any sort of look at the tractor beams on there. No idea of how loading onto the ship is going to work. How is the economy maybe going to support this? It just leaves a lot of questions. This ship is beautiful. It is a workhorse. It looks like an entire level on its own. 3 decks, tons of space to walk around, components and interesting bits, and the design, the crew quarters, it all just looks great. But we're more concerned about how it's going to work at this point. So I'm guessing they're saving that for a later date when they can talk again about vehicle tractor beams or physical loading and unloading or whatever it might be. We got to keep our eye on that roadmap tracker though, because if they're putting the Hull C into the game and not giving us the next cargo refactor, that's I don't like that. I mean, we need a game that can support a ship like this, and I don't think they should drop it in if it's not ready. I think they should continue to work on the economy and wait for that. So we'll see what else they have to say on it. For now, I'm tentative, but I'm excited. Anyways, thanks for checking this one out, guys. I'll catch you in a couple days probably. Cheers.